This just in, there's a typhoon headed straight for Hong Kong, and nobody cares.
So we had a little bit of a heads up because we had some friends message us about Wednesday to say, hey, so there's some typhoon warnings coming up, and explain the warning level system to us. It was really good because otherwise it wasn't even on our radar. I was actually watching Hurricane Florence and all the stuff about that one coming to hit the US.
So we made sure to go to the grocery store. We stocked up on bread, we stocked up on water, just to make sure we had enough to get through a few days if we were stuck in our apartment. So the day before we actually got out of the apartment and went down to Central, there's a big Apple store down there, and the kids had a lot of fun doing an iMovie class where they learned how to use iMovie on their iPads.
And the weather was great. It was beautiful, sun was shining, you had a great breeze coming in. Actually, has been one of the best weather days I think we've had here, was that Saturday before.
So we start seeing different signs pop up with different T warning levels.
So even though it hadn't hit yet, they're really good at giving people plenty of warning in advance. And those signs are out everywhere. In the malls, we saw one down in the lobby of our apartment here, in all the train stations, and then if you have certain apps, they'll notify you when you have certain warning levels. So in the middle of the night, the wind started to pick up quite a bit. Noelle wound up in our bed, which is not a very big bed. So I was up and down most of the night just checking on the weather, and it kind of tossed and turned. I did not get a lot of sleep.
So when we woke up, it was definitely raining, but it wasn't the hardest it was going to be. We could hear the wind kind of rattling through the windows and howling a little bit off and on, but it wasn't as bad yet as it was going to be.
So about 10 o'clock that morning, they issue a T10. And that's when everything shuts down. They're like, stay inside, don't go outside for anything. And that was probably about the time that the winds got strong enough that we felt the buildings sway.
Right.
So far, the storm has been okay. I mean, the building has been shaking side to side, and I'm like, whoa. But I made my own little pallet on the floor. Mom and Daddy and Noelle are sharing the couch. We've just been hanging out, watching Netflix.
So if you don't know, tall buildings are meant to give a little bit in high winds. If they didn't give, they would buckle, break, and then they would come tumbling down. You don't want that. So buildings are made to sway.
Especially here in Hong Kong, where they also get earthquakes.
So there were some times when the winds really picked up, and it got a little scary, and Ashley and I just kind of looked at each other like, whoa, this is really kind of scary. Luckily, the kids just kept their headphones on, their faces in their devices, and they were none the wiser.
Noelle got a little nervous.
Yes.
A little nervous, but once you got used to the building rocking, and it did, I mean, pretty consistently for several hours.
It felt like you were on a cruise ship.
Yeah, once you got used to it, it wasn't so bad.
Okay, so the winds have picked up a little bit, and the building is shaking as it's designed to do. It's making us all a little bit nervous, so we're moving out of the bedroom with the windows and into the living room with less windows. In fact, the building was swaying so much at one point that Noelle decided to put on her pirate costume that she brought from the States because she wanted to feel like a pirate. Why did you put your pirate costume on?
Because it feels like a pirate ship.
So while this is happening, of course, we're on Facebook and keeping up with everything. I'm in some groups for Hong Kong and keeping up with what other people are experiencing. We didn't have a lot of damage in our area, but there were areas where windows were blown in. There were some people who had air conditioners blown in. I think more than anything, a lot of people just had water that was seeping in through the windows. We had that happen here some and had to get out towels for that kind of thing.
We're gonna sneak downstairs and just take a peek outside just to see what it looks like.
It's a little past 4 p.m. and things have died down a little bit. We should be getting past the worst of it. And we're gonna take a nap because it woke me up early this morning, the wind.
So by the time we went to bed that night, it was pretty much over. Everything was dying down. The winds have calmed down a lot. I think it was raining just a little bit, but for the most part, we felt very safe and that we were in the clear.
Yeah, the building wasn't rocking anymore.
It felt like it was, but it wasn't.
That was just us.
Well, it's Monday morning, the day after the typhoon hit. So let's just check out the neighborhood and see what's going on. So the next morning I went out, and along these streets you could see a lot of leaves everywhere, some branches, a tree or two maybe had been knocked over, but the shops were already back open. People were working, going back to work, the train system was running again, so everything was pretty much back to normal very quickly. So we thank everybody for praying for us, everybody who was thinking about us and messaging us. Even though it was a little scary at times, we felt pretty safe throughout the whole ordeal, and we're happy to be on the other side of it.
That's right. Hong Kong has initiated us, and we are survivors of Typhoon Mangkhut.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell.